Welcome back to another episode of the Constructive Liberty Podcast. Today's Wednesday, December the 14th, 2022. This is episode number 128, I think. I do terrible at remembering the numbers. I don't know why. It's all good. Today, I am talking about leadership, and really specifically, I'm sharing my thoughts and notes that I took down while listening to Brendan Burchard's 6 Habits of Growth, and specifically habit number 6, leadership. I think it's a really good, he had a lot of good things to say in that it's an Audible original audio. So it's not a book. It's only on audio, and you can only get it on Audible. As far as I know, if you have an Audible subscription, you can go listen to it for free. I highly, highly recommend it. But I'll be sharing my thoughts on that. Before I get into that, though, I want to share with you a couple of quotes on growth and some really good ones. The first one, I don't know how to say her name, and Anais Nin. I'll go with that. She's an author, or was an author. The picture looks rather old. I get all my quotes from like Goodreads or some other place, but she said, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in bed was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." So if we're afraid to grow, like there comes a point in life when the risk to stay where you're at is greater than the risk to move forward, to grow, to become everything that you can be, to blossom into your full potential. The second quote, because I always have two at least, is from another author, JoyBell C. She writes all kinds of different things. I've never read any of her stuff, but I love this quote. It says, "The only way that we can live is if we grow. The only way we can grow is if we change. The only way we can change is if we learn. The only way we can learn is if we are exposed. And the only way we can become exposed is if we throw ourselves out into the open." So do it. Throw yourself. I love that. The only way you can live is growing and, essentially taking a leap of faith and going out and doing the thing, throwing yourself at what it is that you want most of all in life. Just going out there and doing it. Like, just go do the thing. I love those two quotes. They speak powerfully to what it takes to grow and change and build and create the life you want to live. Because that's what we talk about every single week, is intentionally designing the life you love to live, a lifestyle of freedom. That's personal freedom, business freedom, relationship freedom, lifestyle, all around lifestyle freedom. Those are the things that we talk about. I have another segment that I'm going to introduce maybe every single week, and that is the Building Small Business Tip. One of the things that I love doing in life is giving people an insight into themselves, into what it is that they love to do. And if they, in the process of that work, if they start their own business, that's like, wow, I love that. And that's what I do within my coaching business, Empowering Forward Momentum, is helping especially teens and young adults figure out what it is they love to do and either find a career in that or build a business around that. And building the business is by far the best way to go. So Building Small Business Tips is something that I'll be implementing each and every week. And you can also go follow my Building Small Business TikTok channel. I'll drop that link in the show notes. Hasn't been real active, but I'm going to start building that up, sharing tips, sharing software, sharing things that I use and things that are useful to build your small business. Today's tip. Oh, and you should also tune into our Monday evening live streams at 7 p.m. Central. I go live. Sometimes I'm solo, but I try to do an interview every single week. This started at the beginning of November, so I've got like 5 or 6 episodes out, but talking about what it takes to grow personally and in business from a biblical perspective. So personal and business growth from a biblical perspective, all geared towards building your own small business. I got to pause here. Excuse me, I had a big cough come up. Today's tip, though, for building small business is to know thyself. To know what you want in your business or your career, you have to know where you want to go. And to know where you want to go, you have to know who you are, right? So to know what you want, you've got to know where you want to end up at. And in order to do that, you have to know who you are. That way you know where to start, where you're starting from. So you start by looking at who God made you, how he made you, the interests, the talents, the gifts, the everything that God created in you. He gave you for a purpose. He gave it to you to utilize to create a difference in someone else's life. And one of the best places that I like to start in that I recommend starting is with a personality assessment. It really gives you insights into everything about you. They're a lot of fun to do, but they are super insightful. And DISC is my preferred tool for that. I'll drop a link to that in the show notes as well, so you can go get your own DISC assessment. It is an affiliate link, but it's through my. I get a small commission for the company that puts that on. So I'll drop that link in the show notes. There are other resources out there. If you don't want to use my affiliate link, just type in DISC assessment and you'll have hundreds of links pop up. So that's all good there. I want to move on to the 6 habits of growth. Habit number 6, leadership. This is, like I mentioned earlier, it's an audio from audible.com, which is an Amazon company. Highly recommend, if you have an Audible subscription, go check it out. But habit number 6, leadership. The first thing he says to build that habit, to becoming a leader, is to put yourself in positions of leadership. Like, don't sit around waiting on those things to come to you. Go seek them out. Go find a position of leadership to insert yourself in. When the opportunity's there, reach out and take it. Take that position and run with it. Like, do good with it. As a leader, it's our job to empower others to work together towards an important vision. Is that a strength that you have? Is that something that you have built in yourself? That's something that a leader needs to work towards. That is really the ultimate job of a leader, is to empower other people to work together towards an important vision. And one way to do that is to figure out how to get people to support what they're working on. And Brendan Burchard says that the best way to bring other people in, to bring your team members in, is to allow them to help create the thing. Like, allow them to have direction in where it's going. See, people support what they create. So it's our job as leaders to learn how to enroll people into coming up with ideas. So you've probably come across people that when you tell them an idea, when you tell them a thing, when you just give it to them, they don't find it as palatable. They're like, that's not such a great idea. But if you can, in conversation, lead them or guide them to coming up with that idea themselves, talk them through the process, and they come up with that idea that you had all along, they're a lot more supportive of it. So sometimes they'll come to the conclusion that you want. Sometimes they might come up with another conclusion. But the idea is to get them to help in the creation of the process. Even if you don't implement or utilize their suggestions, they feel like they had a voice and that they were heard. And that gives them some skin in the game. So how can you get your community, your teammates, your workers, your family, whatever position you're in, how can you get the people around you involved in the process and sharing their ideas? That's the job of a leader. We need to seek collective movement forward. If we're not moving forward together as a group, as a whole, as a family, as a business, as whatever it is, as a church, as a community, as it doesn't matter what it is. If you're not moving forward together, then you're scattered. You don't have that focused vision. People need to know what the vision is. We also need to show people CUP. It's an acronym, not an actual cup. Okay. It's an acronym for compassion, understanding, and praise. People thrive on those three things. They need those three things in order to feel a part of it, to feel appreciated. They need compassion because we all make mistakes. So we need to have compassion. They need understanding. I like to be understood when I speak, when I think, when I say, when I feel, when I do. I like to be understood. And then praise so when something goes right, they need to hear that praise. They need to be told, great job. You did good in this area. You had really good effort. It didn't quite come out the way you intended or the way we had hoped, but you did really good. You tried hard. You thought through it. Maybe next time you can utilize what you learned and come out with a better result. But compassion, understanding, and praise. Also, great leaders have the tough conversations. Sometimes it is super difficult when we have a family member, a church member, an employee, or a coworker, or whatever position that person has. It can be super hard to have the tough conversations, especially when you are in the leadership position, because we're calling that person out on a deficiency is what it can feel like to them and what it can feel like to us. We are reprimanding them. We are it can come across when you are the one when you are the recipient of the tough conversation, it can feel like you are being told you are not enough. You're not good enough. But on both sides of that conversation, the leader that is initiating the tough conversation needs to show compassion, understanding, and praise. And the recipient of that conversation needs to understand that it's not personal. 90% of the time, it's not personal. It's not about you. It may be about something that happened. It may be about something you did, maybe about something you need to change and improve. But if you can separate yourself from the cause or the reason for the conversation and say, maybe this person is speaking truth. Maybe they really have something here. What do I need to hear from this? What do I need to learn from it and grow from that? Maybe there's irreparable damage done in the conversation, but you can at least still take what you learned, what you heard, grow from that and move on, whether it's in the same position or in another position at a different company or wherever that is. You still can accept that and grow from it. The next thing is to challenge people based on what they need. Challenge people on their needs. We all come from a different place in life. We all have different backgrounds. We have different personalities. We have different likes and dislikes. We have different needs in life. Each personality type, not even taking into account the background, how they were raised, their religious beliefs, their political beliefs, all of those things. Each personality has basic needs. And if we can challenge people based on those needs, which is something that you'll learn if you take a DISC assessment, you'll learn how each personality has different needs and how to challenge people or connect with people or talk with people or whatever based on those needs. That goes a long way. So you need to challenge people based on what they need and bring them into the conversation of the challenge that they need and what goal would challenge and motivate them to move forward, to become more invested in what they're doing, in the work that they're doing. What would it take to really have them be invested in that? I'm expecting some deliveries today, so I had to check outside to make sure that that was not a delivery driver. You also have to summon the call or the habit and the call to leadership. So you need to raise your ambition in those areas. If you are not the leader you want to be, You have to create that habit inside you. Raise your ambition a little bit. Like, you can do better. You can be better. You can have better. But you have to raise your ambition, and you have to build that habit of leadership. It is a building. It's something that you can create. Yes, some people seem to be born natural leaders, but anybody can build the habit of leadership. You have to adopt the mindset of a role model and ask yourself to show up in such a way that you are a positive influence in other people's lives. If you can think about that each morning, how can I be a role model? How can I be a positive influence in someone's life today? How can I do that? What would it take for me to be a positive influence on somebody else? People, not everybody, but people are watching you. They watch how you show up and they feed on your energy. They're learning habits and mindset from you. So if you can think each morning, if specific person in your life were watching you and saw you as a role model, what would you do differently each and every day? What would you do differently in this situation? How would you act differently? What would you do and say and think and feel if I saw you as a role model? How would that change who you show up as in the workplace, in your family, in your community, in your church, if you were the role model for those people? And then become that person. That is how you become a leader. You adopt the mindset of a role model and you draw other people into the vision. You only play small when you're acting only for yourself. Or I'm sorry, you play small when you're acting only for yourself. So if you're only acting out of selfish motives or for what you can get out of it, that's playing small. But when you can draw the team in, when you have a big vision and you can draw the team in around you to work towards and to move towards the accomplishment of that vision, that's playing at a much higher level. Those are my thoughts when listening to Brendan Burchard's 6 Habits of Leadership, or the 6 Habits of Growth, specifically habit number 6 on leadership. Go check it out. I will drop that link in the show notes. I want to leave you today with a couple of questions. As we're nearing the end of the year and moving into 2023, a new year, a new beginning, as it were, just some things for you to think about. And these are things that I go through and wrestle with and struggle with each and every December. And that is kind of a look back on my previous year, things that have gone well, things that haven't gone well, things that I've done, things that I wanted to accomplish and didn't get done, things that I felt could have gone better, things that exceeded my wildest expectations. I try to remember those. But also looking forward to the next year, what are my goals and expectations for the coming year? What do I want from 2023? What do I hope I have? What do I hope I do? What do I hope I am by the end of 2023? Is what I am now serving me? Is my expectations for the coming year, does that serve the person I want to become? Does that serve who I want to be? And then what would you like to see change for the following year that's different from the previous year? And how would that benefit you? Those are just some things that I think through, that as I write down my goals and figure out where I want to go in the coming year, those are some things that bring me back, that center me. One of the things that I am working on in this coming year is a membership. It's called LevelUP, and the habit number 6 of leadership from the 6 laws of growth really calls me to level up in life. And where this came from is a desire for deeper personal and business growth and spiritual growth It's a membership, but it's more a community of people that are striving for growth, calling each other out on what they say they want to do, and pushing each other forward, elevating each other to achieve higher things. It is part membership, part mastermind. It's community. It's book study on steroids. It's all of those things. And my idea with this membership, my goal, what I plan on doing is every member will receive a gift box each and every month. On the odd months of the year, they will receive a book, a study guide, and a couple other things. Those will be random things each month. And then on the even months, there'll be personalized gifts specifically designed to help that person grow towards their goals. That is where I'm taking this membership. Again, it's called LevelUP. If you want to read a little bit more about it, I'll drop a link in the show notes. It's empoweringforwardmomentum.com/levelup if you want to go check it out. Right now, I'm only accepting 10 people. So it is open. I have a couple of members already. So if you want to join, love to have you check it out. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I would love to have that conversation, to answer any questions you may have about it, or to, let you just to have a conversation about, if you have some ideas for me or me, some ideas for you, if you're trying to create something like that of your own. Love talking about those things. That's all I've got for you today. Do good work.